Welcome to the news here on Zodiac. With me, Joab Frank Chakaza. The headlines. The linking process of its constituent colleges. MEC revising the 2.6 billion Kwacha by-elections budget for 7 constituencies and 2 wards. Suspended Mayor CEO Dr. Collins Magalasi denies charges linked to DPP funding saga. And in sports, Flames maintains position 1, 2, 3 on latest FIFA rankings. Now the news in detail. Government has reversed a recent decision by the University of Malawi Council to shelve the process of delinking its constituent colleges pending a review. A statement released by the Office of the Vice President Dr. Saulos Chilima says this follows consultations by his office and other stakeholders barely a month after the Council's extraordinary meeting resolved to shelve the process, citing legal grounds. Anefa Mlamba has filed this report.
According to a statement from the Office of the Vice President, consultations with stakeholders were made before arriving to the decision to delink the University of Malawi into 3 institutions of higher learning. The idea to delink the University of Malawi was hatched some 4 years ago, but the Council overturned it last month. In new twist of events, government has directed the Minister of Education to gazette commencement of the process and further implementation of the action plan. Education expert Limbani Sabaro has told us that the decision will create room for creativity and will enhance governance systems of the universities.
It will try to promote quality of education, which is very critical, because then the linked universities will try to ensure quality so that there is increased competition. And then governance and management will be improved.
The discussion by the government is against the University Council, which in January was against the linking of the institution. Members of the council were not available to comment on the development. The delinking process will see the College of Medicine merging with the Kamuzu College of Nursing to form Kamuzu University of Health Sciences. Polytechnic is now the University of Business and Applied Sciences, and Chancellor College is the University of Malawi. The 3 universities will now be named University of Business and Applied Sciences, Kamuzu Institute of Health Sciences, and the University of Malawi.
The Malawi Electoral Commission says it's revising the 2.6 billion Kwacha budget it initially submitted to Treasury for the administration of by-elections in 7 constituencies and 2 wards. The Commission's chairperson, Justice Chifundo Kachari, said at a media briefing in Blantyre that the budget was initially for 2 constituencies, but 5 more have been added on the list. The by-elections are scheduled for March 30.
On the 4th of February this year, the High Court nullified 2019 parliamentary elections in 3 constituencies, and the court ordered the Commission to hold fresh elections in those constituencies within 60 days from that date. These are Nsanje Central constituency, Nsanje North, and Chikwawa East. In addition to that, sadly, 4 members of parliament and 2 ward councillors have also passed away in the recent past, and these are from Munchisi North constituency, Lilongwe Sinja South constituency, Karonga Northwest constituency, and Zomba Changalume constituencies, as well as from the 2 wards of Rivirids in Balaka and Chitakale in Mulanje districts. And in preparation for the upcoming by-elections, the Commission undertook the following. We developed a budget which has been duly submitted to the Treasury for funding, and so far the Treasury has promised to fund the by-elections. The split budget, when we had 2 different calendars, was coming up to 2.6 billion, and we are revising that downwards because some of the activities, now that we are doing everything, the decision to do everything together was only taken yesterday, and we have instructed our Secretariat to revise the budget and submit a revised budget, which will be made public in due course.
Government has advised stakeholders to devise innovative ideas on how to further inform on the to further information on the just launched 50 million African Women Speak platform for the women to access technology easily and benefit from business opportunities across Africa without hindrances. Minister of Trade Sosten Gwengwe made the remarks when he was launching the initiative in Lilongwe. A local renowned entrepreneur, Lily Alfonso, has appealed to communities to help children nurture skills and talents that would see them grow into business. Western Guta with the details.
The launch of the 50 million African Women Speak platform in Lilongwe Thursday revealed that Malawian business women operate in unfriendly terrain, especially when traveling on business errands. This is the reason that the platform, which will foster e-commerce in COMESA member countries and across Africa, was introduced and launched in Malawi to give women an opportunity to share business information and allow them to trade across borders without challenges. Minister of Trade Sosten Gwengwe has thus called on stakeholders to come up with innovative modes of enhancing the platform, especially among women that cannot access technological services, so they can benefit from it.
Issues of data cost must really be looked at, not only by us as government, but also the telecommunication firms that are making a living out of data.
Chairperson of the COMESA chapter of the initiative, Barbara Banda, said the numerous gender gaps that exist in Malawi can be dealt with if women are given this opportunity to access limitless business opportunities. Adding different clusters will be made so that the initiative is nationalized.
There's even access to share your story so that you can inspire other women. So this is going to open up doors for business women in Malawi and in the COMESA region, which is 21 countries.
A renowned young entrepreneur, Lile Alfonso, who nursed her childhood skills and talent to grow into a business enterprise, encouraged Malawians to assist young ones in nurturing talents so that they can make meaningful business ventures in future.
The fact that we start investing the grassroots level is what is going to take this program to another level. So the kids that we train are the ones that are going to take it further and the ones that are going to understand it more.
Other countries benefiting from the platform are Egypt, Nigeria, Eswatini, and Zambia. Reporting for Zodiak and Lilongwe, this is Western Guta.
Cotton Farmers Association of Malawi is estimating that cotton farmers in the country have lost about 6 billion kwacha in trade due to COVID-19 pandemic. Association President Cosmas Luanda says cotton prices have reduced from 389 kwacha to 200 kwacha per kilogram since the start of the pandemic. Farmers Union of Malawi President Frighton Njolomole has told Zodiac that due to restrictions on travel, cotton ginners are not able to come into the country to buy cotton, hence the reduction in cotton prices. In education, some concerned teachers in the country have announced that they will hold demonstrations this Friday before presenting their concerns to responsible authorities for action ahead of reopening of schools on Monday. Secretary General of the concerned teachers, Aziz Losa, says among the concerns is provision of risk allowances and personal protective equipment to teachers. Minister of Education spokesperson Chikondi Chimala has told us that hopefully the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 will discuss the concerns and chart the way forward. Onyango Nkoma has filed this report.
General Secretary of Concerned Teachers Aziz Losa claims government has not provided personal protective equipment and risk allowances despite announcing that schools. He told us that last month they presented their concerns to government but are yet to receive answers. Losa also claimed that some officials allegedly swindled their allowances they were supposed to receive during orientation in preparation for previous school reopening. According to Losa, they only received 1,500 kwacha instead of 15,000 kwacha. As such, he disclosed that they have organized a nationwide demonstration tomorrow where they'll present their petition to government.
Tomorrow we are going to demonstrate. We are going to demonstrate peacefully as teachers. The government should consider recruiting of teachers and risk allowance for teachers and PPEs for teachers, disinfection of schools, and we also ask them to provide raining shelters.
Minister of Education spokesperson Chikondi Chimala has told us issues of PPEs and allowances are handled by the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19. According to Chimala, the task force is expected to meet this afternoon virtually to look into such concerns. For Zodiac in Idoa, this is Onyango Nkoma reporting.
Meanwhile, Malawi Health Equity Network is asking government to consider finding other means of barring people that succumb to COVID-19 as a means of protecting healthcare workers who have recently been subjected to attacks. Mehin Executive Director George Jobe says government should, for example, consider dispatching to families disinfected bodies for burial. Ministry of Health spokesperson Joshua Malango, however, says this would be risky. Toera Kumenda has more.
According to Executive Director for Malawi Health Equity Network George Jobe, continued violence by community members towards health workers who carry COVID-19 dead bodies to burial sites is putting the lives of workers at risk. These sentiments come amidst increased acts of violence to health workers, with a recent incident that occurred on Tuesday in Liwonde, where an ambulance driver was seriously assaulted and an ambulance damaged. Jobe has condemned the act, suggesting the work done by health workers should be given to community members so that they buried the dead bodies after a proper disinfection by health workers while still at the morgue.
We condemn strongly the attacks on the healthcare workers. We think burial of COVID-19 deaths must be done by the community. What the Ministry of Health through the health facilities should do is to just treat the dead body.
However, Ministry of Health spokesperson Joshua Malango said health personnel are trained for disinfection and burial, of which if the bodies are not properly handled, there could be contamination.
Yes, we can disinfect it, but if you look at the guidelines, it says the burial should have been in the park. But as a ministry, we have taken note of the suggestions.
However, the health rights activists suggest if health workers will continue to bury such dead bodies, government should ensure they are protected by security enforcement agencies. For Zodiak in Mzuzu, I'm Toera Kumwinda.
You're watching the news here on Zodiac. We'll be back with more after this.
The future is arriving. Uncolo.com Korea. Opening on 22nd February 2021 in Blantyre, Lilongwe and Mzuzu.
For a better tomorrow, don't forget to do the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate every night.
Welcome back. You're with me, Job Frank Chakaza. Before we continue with the news, let's take another look at the top stories. Government maintains position for UNIMA to proceed with the linking process of its constituent colleges. MEC revising the 2.6 billion kwacha by-elections budget for 7 constituencies and 2 wards. Suspended MERA CEO Dr. Collins Magalasi denies charges linked to DPP funding saga. And in sports, Flames maintains position 123 on latest FIFA rankings. Moving on to other news. Suspended Chief Executive Officer for Malawi Energy Regulatory Authority MERA, Collins Magalasi, has denied 2 charges of abuse of office and fraud leveled against him. The matter relates to allegations that he authorized payment of 10.5 million kwacha from a MERA account to former ruling Democratic Progressive Party DPP in 2019. Director of Public Prosecutions DPP, Dr. Stephen Kayuni, says the state will parade 7 witnesses when trial commences next month. Andrew Viano filed this report.
The suspended Malawi Energy Regulatory Authority Chief Executive Officer Dr. Collins Magalasi appeared before Senior Resident Magistrate Sherin Chira for plea taking. Dr. Magalasi is being accused of funding accommodation fees for the former ruling Democratic Progressive Party convention back in 2018 to the tune of 10 million kwacha. He has since been charged with 2 counts, abuse of office and fraud, which he has denied. Director of Public Prosecutions Dr. Stephen Kayuni has since told the court that the state will parade 7 witnesses when the court reconvene on March 19th. In another case in which Dr. Magalasi and 3 others are being accused of conniving to influence procurement of some materials worth 107 million kwacha has been adjourned to February 22.
There are 4 counts. There is one on fraudulent false accounting, and there is one on misprocurement, and there are 2 on money laundering. The regulations that were raised in court to the effect that in some cases, some of the accused persons, as alleged by the defense, some of the particulars do not affect them. And in some ways, there was pleading that the particulars needed clarification, considering that some of the terms that were used were technical.
Dr. Collins Magalasi, Bright Mbewe, Patrick Maulidi and Dorothy Shonga were arrested on allegations that they played a role in influencing procurement of some items at Mera in a process which was faulted.
Remains of veteran politician and Member of Parliament for Kasungu South, Situsi Nkhoma, have been laid to rest at his home village in Kasungu. He died at the age of 78. Nkhoma worked as High Commissioner for Malawi to Zambia, South Africa and UK during the reign of late Kamuzu Banda. Nonkubu reports.
Veteran politician and former MP for Kasungu South, Mr. Situsi Nkhoma, died on Tuesday night at ABC Clinic in Lilongwe. He succumbed to heart failure at the age of 78. Paying condolence messages, almost all speakers at the burial ceremony described the late Nkhoma as a beacon of wisdom and a humble man. MCB Regional Chairman for the Center, Mr. Zebran Chilondola, who represented President Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, said Mr. Nkhoma could socialize with everybody.
Late Nkhoma was a very humble person, a very educated person, but very humble. When he's among the people who didn't go to school, you could not notice that the former Member of Parliament was very educated, but he was a graduate with different degrees.
On his part, Chairman of Kasungu MPs, Mr. Kenny Kandodo, said the former parliamentarian was a mentor to upcoming politicians.
He used to give us advice on how to be a good MP. So we are going to miss him because for an MP to be effective in a constituency, he or she needs to have advisors, even better advisors from people who were also MPs before, the way other constituency was.
Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Mr. Madalitsuka Zombo, said the departed former MP was developmental conscious. The late Situsi Nkhoma is survived by a wife and 2 children. From Sante in Kasungu, this is Noah Nkubwi reporting.
And now we move to sports. The Malawi national football team has maintained position 123 on the latest rankings released by the world's football mother body, FIFA, on Thursday. The Flames regrouped on Wednesday ahead of their 2 last crucial 2022 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers, away to South Sudan as well as at home to Uganda towards the end of March, respectively. Meanwhile, the head coach Mek Mwase says idleness and failure to produce good results in their recent assignments have contributed to the Flames' an improved showing in the standings for almost a year now. Sambanda reports.
The last time the Flames chalked a win was their 2022 Africa Cup of Nations qualifying campaign opener, which they beat South Sudan 1-0 in Blantyre, but went on to suffer a 2-0 defeat at the hands of Uganda in their second fixture. The breakout of the COVID-19 pandemic led to the suspension of the COSAFA tournament, of which the Flames are perennial participants, and they returned to the field of play with the 2 strength testing matches away to Zambia, which they lost 1-0 in Lusaka before being held to a goalless draw by Zimbabwe in Blantyre. The 2 strength testing matches were in preparation for their back-to-back assignments against West African heavyweights Burkina Faso, who beat them 3-1 in Ouagadougou before holding them to a goalless stalemate in Blantyre a few days later. Flames tactician Meke Mwase highlights the reasons behind the team's impressive showing in the standings.
We haven't done well. We haven't played any other games around, so I think that's why we have maintained that position. Positions are just numbers. What we need to do is to prepare well and then do well, win the game, so that maybe we can come up with a proper position in the FIFA ranking, as you said.
Meanwhile, for the first time, FIFA has also incorporated the African Nations Championship CHAN, a showpiece for African national teams featuring homegrown players only, in issuing the latest rankings. Senegal are the top-ranked team in the continent, followed by Tunisia, and reigning Africa Cup of Nations holders Algeria are third, Morocco fourth, and Nigeria's Super Eagles are fifth.
And that's about what we had time for in this news edition. A look at the headlines before we leave. Government maintains position for UNIMA to proceed with the linking process of its constituent colleges. MEC revising the 2.6 billion kwacha by-elections budget for 7 constituencies and 2 wards. Suspended MERA CEO Dr. Collins Magalasi denies charges linked to DPP funding saga. And in sports, Flames maintains position 123 on latest FIFA rankings. Visit our website zodiacmalawi.com for more news. Remember, COVID-19 is among us. Observe all preventive measures to protect yourself and your loved ones against the disease. My name is Job Frank Chakaza. Thanks for watching.
Nkhani yabwino kuchokera ku Kambewu Organic Fertilizer Company.